History has been made here in Glasgow.
After 2 weeks of talks and over 2 days in overtime, an agreement has finally emerged from COP26. More than 190 parties have pledged to accelerate emissions cuts, offering some hope of averting the worst outcomes of climate change. To some, it's an historic step away from fossil fuels. But even the conference president admits it is a flawed agreement, especially when it comes to limiting the planetary temperature rise to the 1.5 degrees threshold.
But I would still say that the pulse of 1.5 is weak. And that's why, whilst we have reached, I do believe, a historic agreement, what this will be judged on is not just the fact that countries have signed up, but it will be judged on whether they meet and deliver on the commitments.
The pact was made possible by a backroom deal between the world's 4 biggest polluters, but it was also severely weakened by it. An 11th-hour intervention led by China and India altered a global pledge to phase out coal to phase down instead. Sharma added that the 2 countries will have to shoulder the consequences of this decision.
These are countries on the front line of climate change. For them, 1.5 is really very bad news. 2 degrees is a death sentence. So of course it matters to them, and there was lots of emotion there. And in terms of China and India, they will, on this particular issue, have to explain themselves to the developing countries.
China, according to an EU official in the negotiating room, threatened to break the whole thing down if they did not get their way. Hours after issuing this ultimatum, state-run media boasted about China's increased coal production. New Delhi's decision to derail the conference also disappointed many back in India. Even they admit the country's coal addiction will be impossible to kick in the near term.
Phase out coal, technically not possible at this moment. None of the scenario can project that India will be having zero dependency on coal by 2050 even.
The Glasgow Climate Pact has also been criticized for lacking an enforcement mechanism, relying merely on the good faith of the world's worst greenhouse gas emitters. For island nations and other vulnerable regions, the death sentence imposed by climate change has not been lifted. But COP26 has at least offered a glimmer of hope. They will be watching the world's polluters to see if they stay true to their word. Alex Chen and Ryan Kilpatrick for TaiwanPlus.